breaking down the defensive expectations. And yes, I'm wearing both my favorite sport teams. What is up, Finn fans? And before you say anything in the comment section, yes, I am a Mets fan. And yes, they are 6.5 games in first. And yes, they have the second best record in football. Let's get past it. Let's talk about our Miami Dolphins. We're going to break down the defensive expectations going into the 2022 season. And then, like I said, I'm going to do a full team expectation when I give you my record prediction, which will happen, I think I said, the Monday before the Thursday kickoff between the Bills and the Rams. So right now I'm going to be looking at 2020, 2021, kind of see where they've gone. I have a list of players that are going to be impactful. I'm going to talk about what I'm expecting going into this season. But I do have some things to talk about before we get to that, so I will timestamp this video. First and foremost, I have to shout out a new member in Don Johnson. If that's your real name, that's amazing. Thank you for becoming a member. If you guys would like to become a member, it's the membership button, the join button next to the subscribe button. If you'd like to become a patron, it is linked in the description. So that's first and foremost. Always shout you guys out when you grab some merch, when you become a new member, when you become a patron, and also when you help me with these training camp videos. You have no idea how much all of those things mean to me and how much the support of the channel means to me. We're very close to 35,000 subs. So every chance I can get to thank you guys, I will take it and do it. The other thing, fantasy football. A lot of people want to talk about, hey, Doug, you doing fantasy football this year? You doing fantasy football this year? If you notice in the membership join button, when you click on it, there's different tiers to join. The top tier being the undefeated tier, you get a chance to be part of the fantasy football league. Also, same thing with the Patreons. There's member league and there's a Patreon league, right? Last year, I did, every year I do a fantasy football league on here. And last year I did one league on here, and some people thought it was unfair when I made the pick because some of you guys had work. So I did 2 leagues. And the first league I did, someone didn't pay. And then the draft happened. And then if you don't pay before the draft, the league instantly turns into a free league. And everyone gets their money back. And a lot of people were upset about that because, again, if it's a free league, a lot of people don't take it seriously. And then by like week 4, week 5 in the season, people just don't set their lineups. And it's not fun. Also, it's a pain in the butt to hunt down people to either pay or to send me their emails so they can join the league. So that being said, I'm going to try one last time to do a league, right? I'm going to do a Patreon league. I'm going to do a member league. I'm not going to be part of the Patreon or member leagues. Someone will just take my place on those. I'll co-manage with me. The league for normal subscribers, I'm going to pick 10. And again, people are like, you should do 12, you should do 14, you should do this. You should do... Yes, I would love to do a huge league. But again, to chase down people to give me their emails and for people to actually pay is more difficult than you know. So I'm doing a 10-person league. I will be picking it, and we will be drafting, I think, the weekend. All the teams will be drafting the weekend before the start of the season. So I'll let you know when I'm doing the drawing. I think I might do it live. I'll let you know when I'm doing the drawing. But yeah, if you don't pay a week, like I'm giving it like a week before the draft. If they're not paid, I'm gonna gotta replace you. It's one of you guys in the comment section gave me that idea, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that. So one last time, I'm going to give it a try doing the fantasy league. Patrons are going to have their own league. Members are going to have their own league. And then your subscribers are going to have your own league. Second thing, before we jump into the expectation video, I did a Pickem league. ESPN does a pigskin Pickem league. And I did it last year. It was a ton of fun. I'm going to do it this year. So when we do the Pickems, every Wednesday, I think every Wednesday I do my picks for the week. I do it before the Thursday game. I will let you know when the league is open. Join it. I think last year we had about 800 people join it. It's a ton of fun. And the winner will get a prize. Plain and simple. I think, unfortunately, last year the winner was Master at Works, and he got a nice little surprise, a nice prize. He liked it. So the winner will get a prize. So I'll let you guys know when that happens. So that's what I got for you. Spent about 5 minutes chatting, telling you about some of the cool updates that are happening. Let's talk about defensive expectations. So we're going to talk about the 2020 Miami Dolphins defense, and then I'm going to talk about the 2021 Miami Dolphins defense, and then we're going to get expectations for this year's defense. So in 2020, the Dolphins were 6th in points for. They were 20th in yards allowed. They were 1st in turnovers. They were 23rd in passing defense, but they were 1st in passing touchdown defense. 16th in rush defense, 18th in pass defense of touchdowns. They were first. I'll say one more time. They were first in the NFL in third down percentage with 31.2. And then this past year, they were 16th in points for. They went down by 10. They were 15th in yards, went up by about 5. They were 8th in turnovers, went down by 7. 16th in pass defense, went up a little bit. 6th in pass touchdowns, went down. 14th in rush defense, went up a little on that. Same on rushing touchdowns, 18th ranked. They went drastically down in third down conversion percentage and 20th in the NFL with a 41.1%. So also in 2020, they had 18 interceptions and 41 sacks. This past year, they had 14 interceptions and 48 sacks. So went up in sacks, down in interceptions from 2020 to 2021. There's a misconception that the Miami Dolphins for the past 2 years had like a top 10 or like a top defense in the NFL. They had a very mid defense, right? 23rd in pass, 16th in rush, and this past year, 16th in pass, 14 in rush. It was a very average defense. They were very high in 2020 in turnovers and points for, but other than that, this past year, 16th point for, 15th in yards, 8th in turnovers, 16 pass, 14 rush, 20th in third down conversions. It's a very average defense. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's because Tua was constantly getting off the field. And actually, the Miami Dolphins offense was 13th ranked in third down conversions. So it necessarily wasn't the fact that the offense was getting off the field quickly, because they really weren't. They were 13th in the NFL in converting third downs. So they were 3 from being top 10. So it's not necessarily that, right? So it was a little bit of a drop from 2020 to 2021. And what was it? A lot of people want to say, well, Brian Flores took over after a certain point and the defense started taking. But then in 2020, who's calling the plays? Because from what I'm hearing, in 2020, Josh Boyer was calling the defensive plays. And then what people want to believe is in the beginning of 2021, Josh Boyer was calling the defensive plays. And then after the Bills game, Flores took over calling with Gerald. And it's like and it's just like, well, what's the truth? And if that's the truth that they took over the play calling, then 2020 was a better defense. And I'm a little bit happy to still have Boyer there if Boyer was calling the plays in 2020, because that was a little bit of a better defense, especially in points for and in turnovers. A little bit better of a defense, but more interceptions too. But there were some things that I noticed, right? They were interviewing Jerome Baker after, I think it was the Texans game, asking what happened? Why is all of a sudden the defense just doing so crazy good? He said that they stopped using him at middle linebacker, put him back to outside linebacker where he thrived. They asked Xavier Howard why all of a sudden is the defense doing better. He said we went back to the 2020 Miami Dolphin defense, and it's like hearing these things again drove me nuts. I'm like, why did it take them 8 weeks for this to be a change that's going to happen? So looking at 2022, right? We have Byron Jones, Xavier Howard. We have Wilkins, who is doing fantastic in training camp. Seiler, fantastic. The defense is doing really good in training camp. There are plays where, Tua is hitting a few bombs. You never see big runs really happen, but you do see the deep passes. And that's because Byron's not out there a lot. And that's because they want to get Noah going. You don't see X on much of those coverages. So that's where a lot of those deep passes are happening. That's why, like, I celebrate them because of the completion and the throw and everything. But again, it's training camp and they're learning and everything's going. So that's why a lot of times if bad play happens, I don't stress it out, and if a great play happens, I don't really like drop the confetti and celebrate it. But looking at this defense, right, I'm hearing really good things about Jalen Phillips, Emmanuel Ogbah, Melvin Ingram. I'm hearing very good things about him. Jerome Baker, Javon Holland, Eric Rowe, Raekwon Davis, AVG, Andrew Van Ginkel, Tyndall. I'm hearing good things about, and then there's the ones that are kind of have question marks next to him. Noah Benogany. I'm hearing good things, but I'm also hearing bad things. Him constantly going up against Tyreek Hill is something that he could definitely grow on, get better at. Byron Jones. How is he going to be week one? Is he going to be ready week one? If he isn't, then Trill Williams. That's a name that you're all hearing Trill Williams during training camp. He has just been absolutely killing it, doing a fantastic job. Jalen Phillips had the rookie sack record for the Miami Dolphins with 8.5. And like I said multiple times, there was a few times he overshot his shot at the quarterback and missed a few. I think breaking down film, I noticed 2 alone, which would give him 10.5 sacks on the season. His rookie year that's a ridiculous, sack record on your rookie year. But also he was dropped back into coverage a lot. He also was taken off the field a lot. So he could have had a ton more sacks. So looking at this defense, I expect, and I say this a lot, and you guys have heard me mention this a lot, there should not be a grace period. Like with the offense, it's new offense, new players, new chemistries, all this stuff. What is the offensive line going to do? All this stuff is giant question marks. So it's like it's going to take a minute for them to gel. It normally takes about 3-4 weeks into the season until you really start to get an understanding of all teams, but mostly, of new schemes on the offense. It's going to take a minute. Should not for this defense. This defense should be rip-raring to go week one. There should be no hiccup. There shouldn't be no setback. Going against the New England Patriots with Devontae Parker as their leading receiver, and their offense, I'm hearing bad things from their camp. And again, this might just be something leaked out there to mess with people, but I'm not hearing good things from Mac Jones. Devontae Parker had a good day where they were blowing smoke up his butt, and then he disappeared. I'm just not hearing good things. So this defense should come out of the gate hot. Again, Byron, Howard, Wilkins, Seiler, Raekwon Davis, Phillips, Ogbah, Baker, Holland, Rowe, AVG. These guys have played together multiple years, except for obviously the rookies from last year. But these guys have played together in the same defense for multiple years. They know the zero blitz defense. They know where you should be, where you should be, where you should be. They know these things. But the added thing is the veteran leadership of Melvin Ingram. I'm hearing, especially when they're sending that zero blitz, that he is fantastic coming off the edge because he has that veteran leadership. He has that veteran knowledge. I'm hearing, again, you look at the snap count to pressure percentage, it was better than Emmanuel Ogbah, who had 9.5 sacks last year. To team him with Emmanuel Ogbah is going to be dangerous. And then again, if Byron's not ready to go, if Trill Williams keeps playing at that high level that he's been doing in training camp, it won't be a miss for Byron. Again, I'm hoping Byron's healthy, but it won't be a miss to have him and X. And then, again, you're not hearing much from Nick Needham, but Nick Needham's also a name that actually did pretty well last year. The secondary is good. The front is good. Again, I'm worried about the depth. I talked about that when I did the position battle. I was worried about the depth with the front, but the starters are good. Linebackers, I'm hearing good things about Tyndall, Landon Roberts, and Brandon Scarlett. It's like I'm hearing good things here and there, but having AVG on one side, having Jerome Baker on the other, this defense shouldn't take a step back. It took a little bit of a step back from 2020 to 2021. I kind of want to see it go back to that 2020 defense. And again, if Josh Boyer is the reason why they were doing what they were doing in 2020 because he was calling the plays in 2020, I will be ecstatic to see that defense because it helps the offense. As much as the offense needs to help the defense, vice versa. I think that's how you say it. It'll help. And they helped to his rookie year, 100%. No one will ever deny that the Dolphin defense in 2020 helped to his rookie year. It 1,000% did. getting him the ball, getting him touchdowns against the Rams with the sack scoop and score against the Cardinals and Kyler Murray, same thing. So I'm hoping and praying that this defense takes that step forward, not backward like it did from 2020 to 2021. And that's my expectation. I'm expecting, again, they had 48 sacks last year. I'm expecting that, maybe more. I'm expecting more, hopefully more interceptions. They went from 18 down to 14. I'd like to stay around that realm of 14. It was nice seeing X get a ton of interceptions in 2020. Let's get that back up there. I'd like to see all these guys really I want to go back up to being first in the NFL in turnovers instead of going down to 8th. I'd like to go back to being 6th in the NFL in points for instead of being 16th in the NFL in points. So that's my expectation. This defense should not slack. This defense should not come out of the gate slow. This defense has been together and running the same stuff for 2 years. There's a reason why Mike McDaniel brought back Josh Boyer. There's a reason why they brought back the entire defense. I'm trying to think of people that they didn't bring back. Like, I think Vince Beagle, they let him go. Yeah, they literally brought back every starter. There's no excuse for them to make a step back. This defense is, and if the offense can play like we're hearing, and we're expecting with the speed and all that stuff, then this team should, to me, give you a little spoiler on my team expectation. To me, this team's success is going to fall on the offensive line, because this offense is predicated to running. And if the offense can't run the ball and they go back to the offense that happened in 2021, where it was mostly passing, it's not going to work. And you're going to put a lot of pressure, not only pressure, but a lot on Tua. Hey, you got to convert, you got to throw, you got to convert, you got to throw, because we can't run the ball. And you only get 2 seconds to throw the ball. Good luck. A lot of this success of this season is depending on the offensive line. But like I said, my expectation, I want to see the defense go back to 2020. I want to see them go back to that 2020 defense. Comment below. What do you think? What is your expectation of this defense? Are you in the same boat as me that there shouldn't be a regression at all? There shouldn't be like a period where they need to learn? Are you in agreement or do you disagree? Be sure to comment below. Again, there's no camp today. I think tomorrow they are going to Tampa, but it's closed off to the public. And then on the 10th and the 11th, that's open to the public. So I know TD is going to Tampa's training camp because I think he lives up by Tampa. But it'll be open, so I think our beat writers will be live tweeting it. So I'm going to give you, obviously, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday, I'll be giving you training camp videos. And then Friday, they're off because Saturday, first preseason game, I will be live for that. So Friday, you'll get my preview for that game. And again, it's a preseason game, so I'm not going to go as in-depth. I'll just tell you what I'm looking for and what we should all be looking for. But other than that, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Training camp with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But like usual, stay classy. My fins up.